Over the last couple days, I just haven't been able to decide if it was a good idea to talk about this publicly or not. I have been more back and forth on this than a student driver learning how to parallel park. I just feel like this topic is one where even mentioning it makes it more of a problem. Kind of like the Bye Bye Man, where even just saying his name gives him power. But ultimately, this is a topic that I've covered on this channel many times over the last 3 or 4 years. I've been keeping my finger on the pulse of this entire AI deepfaking industry. So there's actually quite a bit I'd like to say on the subject. You already know where this is going. You can already see the train tracks and where the rails are heading. We're talking about the Atrioc situation, which I'm very confident the majority of you have seen by now. Atrioc is a very popular streamer, and earlier this week, he made a big blunder. He was streaming, and during his stream, there was a split second where he showed his tabs. And unlike the many other streamers that have come before him that have made this same mistake where they show something embarrassing or they show like porn and get banned for 3 days for it, Atrioc's case is a little more unique because the tab he showed was porn, but it was AI deepfaked porn of his streaming coworkers. The image only jump scared the stream for about a second, but the ramifications from this are going to last much longer. Of course, this happened publicly, so I suppose Atrioc felt the need to defend himself publicly, which led to a very tearful and very uncomfortable stream where he was apologizing and explaining everything while his wife was in the background during all of it. He was going over the situation, explaining that one night at 2 a.m. he was on Pornhub, perusing the old tube there, and he clicked on one of the ads, which immediately blew my mind and probably everyone else's mind in the world that anyone clicks on ads on any site, let alone porn sites. That's just asking for malware, virus, Trojan, or just having your whole fucking computer explode. But he said morbid curiosity got the best of him. He saw an ad for AI deepfake porn. He clicked on it and then paid for it. He paid for access to the deepfaked porn, and it was of some of his streaming colleagues, which of course is a very big problem. That's weird, creepy, and pretty disgusting stuff. I think everyone can agree with that. He did follow this up last night with a written apology, going more in depth on everything and talking about the action he's going to take to improve, as well as stepping away from his company off-brand. And I'm going to go ahead and let everyone know, in case you don't know, Atrioc and I have collaborated on projects over the last year a couple times. We've talked quite a bit. I do consider him a friend, so when all this happened, I was extremely disappointed. Now, since this happened a couple days ago, it's already ancient history on the internet. Everyone's already given their take and talked about this situation, so I don't really have anything to add to the whole Atrioc discussion that someone hasn't already said. It is very clearly a pretty gross and creepy thing to have done, especially because it's not just morbid curiosity that you just clicked on something and saw it. You clicked on it, you paid for it, knowing what you were about to see, and then got it. And then it also stayed open in the tabs. Like, all of that is very bad, alarming shit. I'm not really here to just keep focusing on the Atrioc situation itself or like dunking on the stream. I actually want to talk about AI deepfaked porn directly, because I've actually talked about this quite a bit over the last couple years. And now what Atrioc has done is he's opened the can of worms and shown a lot more people just how far along AI deepfaking technology has come in the porn industry. He was kind of like the lightning rod, the catalyst to open people's eyes to this kind of degeneracy that's existed for a few years now. This whole situation almost worked out like a hashtag ad, like a sponsored stream segment, because the traffic to that site exploded as a result of this whole story. Now, the site has been shut down, and rightfully so. I'll also briefly tackle the damaged Coomer brains that are somehow defending this as like a normal, not awful thing. They're saying, like, it's not even their real body. Why do they care? This is fucking stupid. It's not illegal. It actually is illegal in a few states, but even just setting aside the legality of it, how could you possibly make a sane argument to justify taking people that don't do sexual content and putting them in sexual content anyway, without their permission, consent, or even knowledge that it exists, and then you're selling it to people to jerk off to? Like, can you not see how that's a huge violation? Building an entire career without ever touching sexual content and then still being sold as sexual content by somebody else and using other people's bodies on yours as if it is yours? How can you possibly not see how fucked up that is? The argument that I've heard time and time again is it's not their real body, why do they care? Well, it's because it is indistinguishable from being a real photo or real video because the technology is so fucking advanced. That would be like if someone took a picture or a video of you with a really tiny wiener and sent it around your entire university to make fun of you, or posted it underneath every single one of your tweets saying, "This you," and it's your tiny wiener with like a banana in your butt. No one's going to know if it's real or fake because the technology is so good. Unless you pay very close attention to like hands and feet, but they're also smart with that. In a lot of the photos and videos, they don't show the hands or feet anymore because they know the technology hasn't mastered it. So you really have no way of knowing if it's true or false. And even if you try and debunk that, let's say you're getting harassed by a bully that's deep faking small wieners on all your pictures and underneath all of your tweets. Let's say you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm tired of it. Here's my real dick, and it's 9 inches of steel and glory. Well, now they can just say, you deep fake that, that's not your real penis. You will never be able to prove what's real and fake. Thus, it's totally irrelevant whether or not it's their actual bodies or not because it doesn't matter. They didn't consent to it, A, which is a huge issue that for some reason people are downplaying. They didn't consent to it or give permission to the site to deepfake porn of them. And B, no one's going to know if it's real or fake if someone just starts posting that places like, oh, here's an OnlyFans leak of this streamer, but you didn't know they had a secret OnlyFans. You wouldn't know. Thus, it's a terrible fucking thing all around. These streamers don't do sexual content. Thus, that's why the AI deepfake porn of them exists. If they did do sexual content, it would be redundant. You could just go to their OnlyFans or their Pornhub page. So it's targeting completely innocent women in this industry that don't do anything sexual and still making it sexual for the sake of squeezing some doubloons out of some desperate porn-addicted losers that are frothing at the mouth to get porn of their favorite streamer. That's not normal and that's not acceptable behavior. Again, these are streamers that didn't consent to it, give their permission, know it existed, and they are still being sold sexual content of them that they never produced or had any hand in is being sold to fucking creepy losers. It should be super easy for anyone to understand why people are rightfully upset about all of this whole situation. And let's extend this to a bigger scope. Let's talk about this from a business sense. Businesses have gone full Weenie Hut Jr. I lost a major partnership because I made a dirty song. Now imagine the career problems that can unfold from AI deepfake porn being made of these people. Having that somehow find its way to advertisers or brands they work with could create real issues, even though they've done nothing wrong. They've never made sexual content, they've never done any of the things in the videos or the photos, but it doesn't matter because it still is so indistinguishable from being authentic. It should be very obvious why this is a fucking big problem. Now, I do really want to mention that while every victim in this case was a woman because Atrioc had paid for the female streamers' content, it does exist for men as well, and it has for quite some time. It is obviously more prevalent in women because more people are going to look for AI deepfake porn of women on the internet than men, and you'd be stupid to try and argue the opposite. But it is worth noting that this isn't just a woman-specific issue. This does exist for men. There is a ton of deepfake porn of me, for example. And I want to touch on the actual AI deepfaking and everything regarding that itself. You may remember, if you've been around the channel for a few years, I actually told the story of the day I became alerted to this industry. It was just an innocent, ordinary, normal afternoon, and then someone sent me a message talking about a fake Charlie porn video that was floating around. So I clicked it, and it was a deep fake of me giving a dual hand job. So I was skiing with some wieners here, grabbing 2 penises in each hand. And this is when AI deepfaking was still pretty new, so it was primitive, a bit archaic, it wasn't convincing, it was floating around as like a very self-aware joke, and it made me giggle. And then another one popped up shortly thereafter of me giving myself a foot job, I think, and the physics of it were crazy. I mean, it looked like a PlayStation 1 malfunctioning cutscene. Like, there were quite a few AI deepfake pornos of me, and I thought nothing of it other than, wow, this is goofy. But I did at least want to keep my eye on it because I knew, as everyone does with technology, it only gets more and more sophisticated. So fast forward to 2023. We're at a point where AI deepfaking is so impressive that only a few days ago, a picture of 4 women in bra and panties went viral on Twitter with dudes drooling over them, and then it was revealed that that was all AI generated and none of those women existed, and people's minds were blown. It's no longer like this goofy thing where it looks like fucking terrible Photoshop. It's a very convincing tool. So obviously, some bad actors are making porn out of people that don't do sexual content and selling it as authentic. They're not selling it as AI deepfaked porn most of the time. A lot of these companies are selling it as like leaks or look at what just dropped in this special Discord server of this person. And then they're selling AI deepfake porn of people that don't do that. So it's not even being marketed as a deepfake by most of the companies out there at the moment. And a lot of people are none the wiser because of just how convincing and how real it is. Obviously, all of it is being made without the people's permission or their consent for this kind of content to be made. But it doesn't matter. It's spawned an entire industry out of people exploiting it and using it for this financial gain and this really seedy, shitty, shady, weird community that has grown from it. And I don't have a spicy take on all of it where it's like, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's the price of being on the internet. Because I don't think that should be the price of being on the internet. Having to just have porn of you always exist, even when you don't do porn. Just like fucking deep faked revenge porn or whatever, like, that shouldn't be the cost of doing business online. It should be illegal, and in 3 states it is. Hopefully that grows as the technology does, where they start making it illegal pretty much everywhere to deep fake fucking porn of people. But yeah, it's a pretty awful situation, and it's a pretty complicated one. I do think a lot of the streamers are taking the right approach of getting the sites that are hosting these things and producing these things taken down. That is absolutely the correct play. 100%. It's not like what they're doing is okay, and I don't understand the fucking weirdos that are defending it. So yeah, just wanted to talk about the whole AI situation here with the deep fakes, and that's about it. So yeah.